Hi, I'm Chris. You know something? I'm hungry. So, let's make some food. First, let me move this out of the way. Okay. Before I get to making any food, you know, there is one thing that really grinds my, you ever have one of those times when, let's see, you're at work and it's break time and you're in the break room and you're reading the newspaper or doing whatever it is you do, and you're the only person in there and you're just minding your own business. Somebody walks into the room and you know, starts making himself a cup of coffee or maybe microwaving something in the microwave, and so we start telling some kind of anecdote like, so oh, check this out, the other day I was blah 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 and something and they start looking at you like, who are you talking to? Or just as well, are you talking to me? Well, let me see if I got this right. So you walk into the room, nobody was saying anything. The only person who wasn't there starts talking when you start walking in. Why no, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Pinocchio. Say hello to the Mrs. Pinocchio. Pinocchio says, this is a so-called normal that I'm supposed to conform to and choose my friends from. Anyway, so let's get to making food. Today we're making, well, I was going to call it voodoo dogs, but the voodoo part would only resemble the first half of this, so I have to call it spider dogs. And here's how we make spider dogs. First we get our some of that spaghetti where it's in half. You know, if it's the usual length, it would be about half the size and this half, and then about this tall. But these are in half, so you know. Anyway, and we have our sausages, also duct tape brand. I think this is the some kind of steak flavored, and I've got a plate right here. So we take one of these out, and then we take one strand of spaghetti here, and we there, kind of poke it like a voodoo doll there, and then we get another one, and go through like that. That a little bit further through. Right. Then a third one. Like that. And finally, a fourth one, like that. And then we get a whole bunch more and poke spaghetti strands through like that. And well, the point is that although it kind of looks like a voodoo doll right now, sort of, well, it's gonna be like well, 8 legs. Get it? 8 legs, spider dogs. And no, I'm not gonna make a 15-minute video of me going through every single one. So in between takes, I'll be boiling up some water, and I'll be throwing these in there, and in the second segment of this, we'll see the result. So in the meantime, in a previous episode, episode 3 actually, which I mentioned roadie tales. A roadie, of course, is somebody who shows up at the musician's place wherever they're playing, and helps set up the gear, helps unload some things, and set up the lights and what have you. And well, here's one that happened. My friends were playing at a country club in a rather upscale neighborhood. Not so upscale that you would expect, scenes like Junior, your mother and I were discussing your curriculum at the school this year, and we decided it would be in your best interest if, rather than rather than polo, you would take up cricket this year until you get your horseback riding skills up to scratch. Do you have anything to say in the matter?
No, sir, I don't.
Very well then, I'll have Jeeves put a word to the headmaster in the morning. And, thank you, Jeeves. Yes, and please get that message to the headmaster. No, it's not that upscale, but, quite up there. And, of course, we've been, had their, if they weren't liked, then we wouldn't have been, invited back a bunch of times. So, but there are some people who make up the negative stereotype of rich snobs. You've heard of the creature from the Black Lagoon, or the creatures from the Black Tax Bracket. And don't you forget it. Well, and don't you forget it is kind of the they like to subtly add that, by things like saying things like like this one time, this one guy who was apparently newly in charge, or maybe just in charge of the particular function. He says, "Oh well, we don't normally let the bands eat with us, and but in your case, we're making this very special exception, and so we have this table set up for you, yada 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 yada," and I'm thinking to myself, of course you can't say this, but I'm thinking to myself, excuse me, Mr. Penis Wrinkle, was it? Oh, Mr. Penis Pimple, yes. This is the 5th time we've been here, and it has never been a special exception. Apparently this guy was expecting something more to the nature of, "Oh, thy lordship, thou art far too kind. Our cups runneth over with an overwhelming amount of gratitude for this hitherto unseen charity thou hath bestowed upon such paltry yet humble peasants such as we. However, we are besotted with grief and sorrow and misery and despair over the fact that we have nothing to offer thee in return except for our undying loyalty, sir." Okay, to be fair, I consider myself a fair person. Maybe this person had been in charge of previous functions either at that place or some other places, and they hired some band, and they said, "Okay, well, you can have one plate only," and they say, "Oh boy, one plate of dinner, and it's rich people food," and people who were they have caterers who from culinary art school who studied under proteges of proteges of proteges of people like Chef Ramsay or Ralph Emerald or any other of their ilk, you know, oh boy, you know, so they get their one plate, but they stack it as high as the Empire State Building or the Empire or the Eiffel Tower, and you know, oh boy, rich people food, you know. Yeah, so maybe maybe that happened previously, you know, but anyway, I'm gonna make some more voodoo dogs and set them in the water, and we'll see what happens when we come back. See you in the next segment.